What if I told you that a wheelchair is not the end of your gardening story? What if I told you that some of the most beautiful, most productive, most joy-filled gardens in the world are grown by people who never stand up to tend them? Today, we're going to completely change the way you think about gardening. We are going to show you that dirt under your fingernails, the smell of fresh soil, the joy of watching something you planted grow tall and strong, all of that is still yours. Every single bit of it. Whether you use a wheelchair yourself or you love someone who does, this video is going to open a door you maybe thought was closed forever. We're going to talk about the right tools, the right garden setups, the right plants, and the right mindset. And by the time this video is over, you are going to feel something powerful rising up inside you. You are going to feel ready. So stay with me. Don't go anywhere, because this one right here might just be the most important gardening video you ever watch. But before we dig in, and we are going to dig in today, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Senior's Evergreen Garden if you haven't already, because we make videos like this every single week. Videos that prove that age and ability and circumstance will never stop a true gardener. And drop a comment below. Tell me, do you garden from a wheelchair, or do you know someone who does? I want to hear your story. All right, let's get our hands dirty. Section 1. The biggest myth about wheelchair gardening. Now, the first thing I want to do is bust a myth. A big one. One that has stopped too many wonderful people from ever picking up a trowel again. The myth goes like this. Gardening is for people who can walk, bend, kneel, and dig. And honestly, I understand why people believe that. When most of us picture a gardener, we picture someone on their knees pulling weeds, or standing tall with a long-handled hoe, working up a sweat in the afternoon sun. But here's the truth, and I need you to really hear this. Gardening is not about how you move. Gardening is about what you grow. And growing has nothing to do with your legs. Think about it this way. A seed doesn't know if you're standing or sitting. The soil doesn't check whether you walked to it or rolled to it. The rain falls on every garden equally. And the sun, that big, beautiful sun, shines just as warmly on a wheelchair gardener as it does on anyone else. Some of the most creative, most innovative garden designs in the world have come directly from people who garden from a seated position. Because when you face a challenge, you get creative. And creativity makes better gardens. So let's throw that myth right in the compost pile where it belongs. And let's start fresh. Together. Section 2. Setting up your garden for success. Okay, so here is where it gets really exciting. Because setting up a garden for wheelchair access is honestly one of the most clever, most satisfying things you can do. And once it's set up right, gardening becomes not just possible, but genuinely fun every single day. Let's talk about the 3 most important things you need to think about when setting up your wheelchair garden. Number 1. Raised garden beds. Now, if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you already know we love raised beds. But for wheelchair gardeners, raised beds are not just a preference. They are a game changer. Here's the simple idea. Instead of planting in the ground, where you'd have to bend way, way down to reach your plants, you bring the garden up. You build a table-like structure filled with good soil at a height where you can reach everything comfortably while sitting in your wheelchair. Imagine your garden is like a dining table. You wouldn't eat your dinner off the floor, right? You sit at a table because it's at the right height. Your garden should work the same way. The ideal height for most wheelchair users is somewhere between 24 and 30 inches tall. That's roughly as high as a kitchen counter. And the depth, meaning how far from one side to the other, should be no more than 24 inches. Why? Because that's about as far as most people can comfortably reach without straining or leaning dangerously. Now here's a really wonderful bonus tip. If you build your raised bed with an open bottom, like a table with no tabletop underneath, you can actually roll your wheelchair right underneath it. That means you can get even closer to your plants. You can reach further, see better, and feel more connected to what you're growing. It is such a simple idea, and it makes such a massive difference. Number 2, pathways. Your garden path is your highway. And just like a real highway, it needs to be smooth, wide, and easy to travel. If your garden paths are narrow, bumpy, or made of loose gravel, a wheelchair is going to struggle. Wheels get stuck in loose stones. Narrow paths make turning difficult. Uneven surfaces can be tiring or even dangerous. So here's what you want. Paths that are at least 36 inches wide, that's 3 feet, so your wheelchair can move freely without feeling squeezed. Smooth, firm surfaces work best. Paving stones, concrete, compacted gravel, or even smooth wooden boards all work beautifully. Think of it like this. If you were driving a car, you wouldn't want to drive through a field of rocks to get to your destination. You'd want a nice, clear road. Give your wheelchair the same respect. Number 3, everything within reach. This is the golden rule of wheelchair gardening. If you can't reach it easily, move it closer. Your tools should be stored where you can grab them without stretching or straining. Your water source, whether it's a hose, a watering can, or a drip irrigation system, should be close and easy to use. Your seeds, your pots, your fertilizer, all of it should live at arm's reach. A small rolling cart that sits right beside your wheelchair can be your absolute best friend. Load it up with everything you need for the day's gardening session and roll it right along with you as you move through your garden. It's like having a little helper that goes everywhere you go. Section 3. The best tools for wheelchair gardeners. Now let's talk tools, because the right tool can make everything easier, and the wrong tool can make even simple tasks feel frustrating and hard. For wheelchair gardeners, the 3 words that matter most when choosing tools are lightweight, long-handled, and easy grip. Let's break those down. Lightweight means you're not fighting the tool itself. Heavy tools wear out your arms and hands fast. Look for tools made from aluminum or lightweight materials. They do the same job, but without the extra weight. Long-handled means you can reach further without leaning dangerously out of your chair. A long-handled trowel, a long-handled cultivator, these let you dig, plant, and loosen soil from a comfortable, safe position. Easy grip means the handles are designed for comfort. Many wheelchair gardeners have limited hand strength or deal with conditions like arthritis. Soft, thick, rubberized handles are so much easier to hold. Some tools even have special ergonomic designs, which is just a fancy word for shaped to fit your hand perfectly. Now here are some specific tools that wheelchair gardeners absolutely love. The soil scoop, wider than a regular trowel, scoops up more soil with less effort. Perfect. The hand cultivator, those little fork-like tools that loosen soil. Great for aerating around your plants. The telescoping hoe, a hoe with an adjustable handle that you can extend longer or shorten depending on what you need. The watering wand, a long, lightweight wand attachment for your hose that lets you water plants gently without having to move the heavy hose around. And finally, gardening gloves with grip. Simple, but so important. The right gloves protect your hands and give you better control over everything you pick up or handle. Good tools don't just make gardening easier, they make it safer, and they make it a whole lot more enjoyable. Section 4. The best plants for wheelchair gardeners. All right, now we get to the really fun part. Plants. Not all plants are equally friendly for wheelchair gardeners. Some plants are tall and dramatic, but hard to manage. Some grow so fast and spread so wide they become difficult to maintain. Some require deep digging that just isn't practical from a seated position. But some plants are just perfect. They grow happily in raised beds, they don't require a lot of fussy maintenance, and they reward you beautifully for the care you give them. Let's talk about some of the best ones. Herbs. Oh, where do I even begin with herbs? Basil, mint, rosemary, parsley, chives. These are some of the most rewarding plants you can possibly grow. They don't need deep soil. They grow happily in containers and raised beds. They smell incredible. And you can actually use them in your cooking, in teas, in everything. Every time you snip a little fresh basil for your dinner, you get to feel that incredible pride of saying, I grew that. Lettuce and leafy greens. Lettuce is one of the most wheelchair-friendly vegetables in existence. It has shallow roots, which means it doesn't need deep soil. It grows quickly. You can be eating your own salad in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. And it's very forgiving. Even beginner gardeners grow beautiful lettuce. Tomatoes. Now, tomatoes do need a little more attention, but they are so worth it. Cherry tomatoes in particular are wonderful for raised bed growing. They produce loads of little tomatoes all season long, and there's genuinely no feeling in the world quite like picking a warm, ripe cherry tomato straight from your own plant and popping it in your mouth. Flowers, especially marigolds and nasturtiums. Flowers make your garden beautiful, and beautiful matters. When you look at your garden and it makes you smile, that is good for your soul. Marigolds are tough, cheerful, and incredibly easy to grow. Nasturtiums, with their bright orange and yellow blooms, are not just pretty, they're actually edible. You can put the flowers right in a salad. How wonderful is that? Strawberries. Small, manageable, and absolutely delicious. Strawberries love containers and raised beds. They spread gently and don't require deep roots. And eating a strawberry you grew yourself? That is one of life's truly simple joys. The secret with plants and wheelchair gardening is this: start simple. Choose plants that give you quick rewards. Let those early successes build your confidence. And then, little by little, experiment with more. Your garden will grow, and so will you. Section 5. Watering and maintenance made easy. Now, watering can feel like one of the biggest challenges for wheelchair gardeners. Heavy watering cans, tangled hoses, hard-to-reach plants, it can all feel a bit overwhelming. But here's some really good news. Modern gardening has some absolutely brilliant solutions. The best one? Drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is a simple system of small tubes and tiny holes that deliver water slowly, directly to the roots of your plants. You set it up once, connect it to your water supply, and then your garden waters itself. You don't have to carry anything heavy. You don't have to wrestle with a hose. Your plants get exactly the water they need, right where they need it. For wheelchair gardeners, drip irrigation isn't a luxury. It's practically a superpower. If drip irrigation feels too complicated to start with, a simple, lightweight watering wand connected to your hose is a wonderful alternative. The long handle means you can reach your plants easily, and the gentle spray head waters without disturbing the soil. For maintenance, weeding, deadheading flowers, pruning, keep your tools right beside you on your rolling cart. Work in short, comfortable sessions. There's no rule that says you must finish everything in one go. Gardens are patient. They'll wait for you. And mulch? Thick mulch spread over your soil is your secret weapon against weeds. Mulch blocks sunlight from reaching weed seeds, which means far fewer weeds trying to sneak into your garden. Less weeding means more time enjoying. And enjoying is the whole point. Section 6. The emotional power of gardening from a wheelchair. I want to stop here for just a moment, because I think this section might be the most important thing I say in this entire video. Gardening is not just about plants. It never has been. Gardening is about connection. Connection to the earth. Connection to life. Connection to something bigger than ourselves. And for so many people living with disabilities, or recovering from illness or injury, or navigating the challenges that come with getting older, that connection can feel like it has been taken away. When you can no longer do the things you used to do the way you used to do them, it can feel like loss. Real, deep loss. And that feeling is completely valid. You are allowed to grieve what has changed. But here is what I have seen time and time again in gardens all around the world. The moment someone in a wheelchair puts their hands in soil for the first time, something shifts. Something wakes up. There is a look on people's faces in that moment that I can only describe as coming home. Because the earth doesn't judge. The soil doesn't see your wheelchair. The seeds don't know your limitations. In the garden, you are not a patient. You are not a diagnosis. You are not defined by what you can't do. In the garden, you are a grower, a creator. Someone who takes a tiny seed, gives it love and attention and care, and watches it become something alive and beautiful. That is one of the most powerful, most healing experiences a human being can have. And it belongs to you. It has always belonged to you. So here's what I want you to walk away from this video knowing. Your wheelchair is not a barrier to gardening. It is simply a different starting point. And sometimes, a different starting point leads you to discover things you never would have found on the usual path. Raised beds that put your garden right at your fingertips. Tools designed to make every movement easier. Beautiful, generous plants that grow joyfully in containers and shallow beds. Watering systems that do the hard work for you. And a community, right here on this channel, that believes with everything we have that gardening is for everyone. You don't need perfect legs to grow perfect tomatoes. You don't need to stand tall to grow tall sunflowers. You just need a little soil, a little sunlight, a little water, and a heart that still wants to grow something. And if your heart still wants that, and I believe it does because you watched all the way to the end of this video, then you have everything you need to begin. Start small. Start simple. Start today. Because every great garden begins with a single seed. And today, that seed is you. If this video touched your heart today, if it gave you even one new idea, one spark of inspiration, please hit that like button. It helps more people find this video and discover that gardening truly is for everyone. Subscribe to Seniors Evergreen Gardens so you never miss a video. We are here every week with tips, stories, and gardening inspiration designed with you in mind. And please, leave a comment below. Tell me your story. Are you gardening from a wheelchair? Have you adapted your garden for someone you love? What's the one plant you're most excited to grow? I read every single comment, and your stories inspire me more than you will ever know. Until next time, keep your hands in the soil, keep your heart in the garden, and remember, the most beautiful gardens are grown by the most determined souls. Take care, friends. I'll see you in the next one.